Tonight, breaking news. Could the federal charges against embattled New York City Mayor Eric Adams be dropped? The new reporting about the mayor's corruption case coming weeks after Adams' meeting with President Trump. Now, Trump DOJ officials and federal prosecutors discussing the possibility of abandoning the case. Also tonight, migrants to Guantanamo Bay. President Trump just authorizing the use of the detention camp for undocumented immigrants, and the abrupt new move stripping temporary protection status from 600,000 Venezuelan migrants. Former Senator Bob Menendez heading to prison. The emotional moments inside that courtroom as he was sentenced to 11 years. The tense confirmation hearing with RFK Jr. in the hot seat. Democrats taking jabs over his position on vaccinations, abortion, and Medicaid. So does he have the votes to become the next Health and Human Services Secretary? The brawl breaking out at a town hall meeting with so-called super mayor even getting involved. It's not the first time she's been at the center of the controversy, the investigation into her alleged financial misconduct. We'll show you new body cam video as officers race to evacuate a retirement home. Just as wildfire flames closed in, we'll show you the moment they rescue a 100-year-old woman frantically searching for a way out. And THC-infused alcohol taking the beverage industry to a new kind of high. People are swapping out a traditional buzz for booze with weed. And is it actually better for you? Plus, the FDA elevating its recall of Lay's popular potato chips, the classic ones, the highest warning level. Top story starts right now. And good evening. We are following breaking news as we come on the air. Lawyers for New York City Mayor Eric Adams appealing to President Trump's new Department of Justice to drop the bribery case against him. We're learning tonight that there are discussions between the DOJ and prosecutors here in the Southern District of New York to potentially drop the case. The move coming after Adams met with Trump in recent weeks and even canceled his MLK Day events to attend the inauguration. We do want to remind you how we got here. On September 25th, you may remember, reports began to emerge that the mayor was indicted by a grand jury. That night, he spoke to his fellow New Yorkers, maintaining his innocence.
If I'm charged, I know I'm innocent. I will request an immediate trials so the New Yorkers can hear the truth.
The next day, the charges were officially unsealed, and he became the first sitting New York City mayor to face federal charges. Adams accused of conspiring with the Turkish government in exchange for campaign donations. Those charges include bribery, wire fraud, solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national, and receiving foreign campaign contributions. That same day, the historic Gracie Mansion is searched and the mayor's devices are seized. A day later, Mayor Adams pleaded not guilty inside a federal courtroom. In the months leading up to and after, Adams' inner circle became tied up in a number of investigations and inquiries, some of which are not even associated with this case. But in recent months, the mayor has changed his tune on the Democratic Party, meeting with Trump's border czar Tom Llamas to discuss the migrant crisis, and just weeks ago making a trip to President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home as speculation swirled over whether Trump would pardon him. Also doing this sit-down with Tucker Carlson, where he said he believed he was charged in retaliation for criticizing President Biden, but offering no proof. So the big question tonight, will Trump's Justice Department be a driving force to get the charges dropped? For more on all this, I want to get right to NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney, who joins us tonight from Washington. And Ken, we're going to be real careful and we'll be real transparent with our viewers because this story is breaking, and I want to make sure that we obviously get it right from what we know so far. So explain to our viewers where we're at tonight on this case.
Good evening, Tom. Well, two people briefed on the matter have told NBC News that these discussions are taking place between the acting Deputy Attorney General's office, that's Emile Beauvais, remember, one of Donald Trump's defense lawyers, and prosecutors in the Southern District of New York, along with Eric Adams' lawyers, about their request that the Justice Department drop the case. They're not saying they're considering dropping it, but they are saying they're discussing it, not just among prosecutors in New York who charged this case, this 57-page indictment, but a senior Justice Department official just installed by Donald Trump. And so that's significant. That's getting a lot of attention. But again, there's no indication that the Justice Department is moving to drop this case. It's a very strong case. And as you know, Tom, federal prosecutors don't tend to bring high-profile corruption cases against famous dismiss public figures unless they have overwhelming evidence and they're very sure they can win the case. So it would be a dramatic step if they chose to drop this case, Tom.
Before we get into why people may be trying to connect the dots, I do want to ask you, even here at NBC News recently, we reported that there was new evidence found and that they were going to make their case even stronger, correct?
That's right, and there are court records that suggest that prosecutors are still bringing witnesses before the grand jury, still amassing evidence, and there is a feeling that there could be new charges.
So let's talk about now why this is a massive headline, right? Because this is a broadcast that hits the entire country, and this is the New York City mayor, but it's incredibly important because of what we laid out at the top of the broadcast, right? Mayor Adams had begun to criticize Democrats, right, about the influx of migrants here. He went head-to-head with the Biden administration. He claims that the Biden White House told him to be a, quote, good Democrat. But again, he offered no proof. This is him saying that to Tucker Carlson. So this happens, and then he starts to meet with President Trump after he wins the election. They start to have meetings. He met with Tom Homan, as we mentioned as well, the border czar. And now we have this news. So if people are looking at this, they're saying, essentially, did Mayor Adams essentially set the table to get these charges dropped? We don't know the answer yet, right, Ken?
Right, but the reason this is such a huge deal, Tom, is because it would be one thing if Mayor Adams was doing all of this to try to get a pardon or a commutation from Donald Trump. That is Donald Trump's absolute right. But if Donald Trump or any political figure weighed in with the Justice Department, if the White House or anybody associated with Trump asked the Justice Department or ordered the Justice Department to drop this case, that would be a dramatic departure from 50 years of post-Watergate traditions that the Justice Department is supposed to be independent, particularly in criminal cases. Look, people across the country may not believe it, but this just does not happen. President Biden was not involved in the Jack Smith special counsel investigation of Donald Trump, and no president that we know of over the last 50 years has weighed in and said, prosecute this person, drop the charges against that person. But Donald Trump and his allies have said that they believe that is their right. And so this is going to be a big test case to see if they're actually going to carry out that promise.
Mayor Adams, there are questions on whether he's going to run again for re-election. There have been questions about where he's been lately. Where does that reporting stand?
Yeah, in fact, he's been sort of absent from public view, and there was some speculation even this week that he may be moving towards considering resigning or announcing he isn't going to run again. But this story sort of sends things in a different direction, Tom. It appears, if he thinks he has a chance to get the charges dropped, he may hang in there.
Ken Delaney on that breaking story tonight. Ken, we appreciate all your reporting and everyone else on the investigative team that is making calls on this one. Okay, we're also following breaking news out of Washington tonight, a major reversal by the White House, rescinding the order to freeze most federal grants and loans. The move coming after the initial order caused widespread criticism and confusion. NBC's Garrett Hake has the latest.
Tonight, after rolling out hundreds of executive orders and actions in his first week, President Trump with a rare walkback. The Office of Management and Budget saying it has rescinded its controversial memo appearing to freeze federal funding for programs across the government. That Monday memo had paused, quote, grant, loan, or federal financial assistance programs that might run counter to the president's executive orders.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid have not been affected by any action we're taking in any way, shape, or form. We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse.
The White House says the underlying orders freezing funding for DEI, climate, and other targeted programs are still in place, but all of it temporarily blocked by a federal judge.
Their explanations have created no clarity or certainty. There are a lot of programs they are saying won't be affected, when that is not what organizations across the country are experiencing.
And tonight, another sweeping order amid President Trump's escalating crackdown on illegal immigration nationwide. He announced the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security will begin prepping the Navy's Guantanamo Bay facility to hold detained migrants.
We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people.
The massive Navy base in Cuba still holds 15 terror detainees and has been used to temporarily house migrants before. What kind of civilian oversight would there be?
ICE has the highest detention standards in the industry. You can't find another state, federal, local, or city that has higher detention standards than ICE.
And there's new fallout tonight from the president's buyout offer, emailed to nearly every federal employee last night, which the White House says could save tens of billions.
We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient.
But Democrats urging federal workers not to accept.
He doesn't have any authority to do this. Do not be fooled by this guy.
Army vet George Buchanan has worked for the VA for nearly 11 years.
What was your reaction when you first saw this email last night?
A little shocked. I thought it was combative, condescending, insulting, especially as a veteran.
All right, Garrett Haake joins us tonight from the White House. Garrett, I know it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much breaking news, at least in the last few weeks. I know you have a breaker tonight as well on a settlement between Meta and President Trump.
Yeah, Tom, this goes back to a lawsuit that President Trump filed against Meta back in 2021 after he was booted from Facebook and Instagram following January 6th. Two sources familiar with the matter say that matter with Meta has now been settled for $25 million. The bulk of that money, $22 million of it, will go to a fund that is yet to be established to fund the president's presidential library. I think this is sort of the last brick, perhaps, in a warming relationship between Donald Trump and Mark Zuckerberg, who have spent time together at Mar-a-Lago. Zuckerberg was here in Washington for the inauguration. Now this outstanding lawsuit has been settled, another big legal victory for President Trump as a private citizen, even now that he's back in the Oval Office.
Garrett, I just want to make sure I heard this right. So Meta had banned former President Trump when he was no longer president. He sued them. They've now settled for $25 million. They're paying the president-elect, or the president, I should say, now $25 million. It's going to go to his library.
That's right. $22 million of it will go to the library. The other $3 million will go to other parties who were involved in this and legal fees. It is an extraordinary amount. And Tom, I think you, perhaps like me, President Trump is a very litigious person. He files a lot of lawsuits. Most end up dismissed. We hear about a filing or a threat and never hear about it again. That's sort of where I was on this lawsuit. The reporting here, first by the Wall Street Journal, then confirmed by NBC News about this huge 8-figure settlement. Certainly major breaking news here, especially when you consider this relationship and all the technological policy issues that are likely to come up between the president and Meta.
Yeah, and other tech companies as well. All right, Garrett, thank you as always. We appreciate it. Just hours ago, President Trump signing the Laken-Riley Act into law, the first legislative win of his second term, as he looks to carry out a sweeping crackdown on immigration. The signing comes just hours after the administration revoked a temporary protected status extension for more than 600,000 Venezuelans. NBC's George Solis is following it all for us.
Tonight, President Trump signing the Laken-Riley Act into law.
We're moving with urgency and speed to get these vicious and violent criminals the hell out of our country.
The law requires the detention of undocumented immigrants accused of theft and violent crimes. It was named after Laken Riley, the nursing school student who was murdered last year in Athens, Georgia, by a Venezuelan migrant who entered the U.S. illegally and was released twice after being detained, according to ICE. It comes the same day the Trump administration has revoked temporary protected status for more than 600,000 Venezuelans in the United States, implemented by the Biden administration. Also, as ICE raids have been unfolding in major cities like Chicago and New York.
This is part of our plan to make sure that we're protecting America.
Newly confirmed DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announcing the decision Wednesday morning on Fox and Friends.
Before he left town, Mayorkas signed an order that said for 18 months they were going to extend this protection to people that are in temporary protected status, and we stopped that.
TPS is a federal program that allows people from certain countries to live and work in the U.S. when it's deemed unsafe to return to their home country. The Biden administration gave Venezuelans TPS in 2021 and 2023, citing the country's political and economic crisis under the Nicolas Maduro regime. The extension by Mayorkas would have allowed Venezuelans to stay in the U.S. until October 2026. Instead, they now have until April or September, depending on when they receive TPS.
You're scared?
Venezuelans we spoke with today say they feel like they're in limbo. This man telling us that for the everyday Venezuelan who just want to work and live a normal life, their biggest fear is being deported to the country they fled from. Another woman saying she feels like the doors have closed for all Venezuelans and that many in her community don't know what to do now.
Well, my day started at 6:30 when my first client calling me that, it was pure hysteria.
Mirta Fadul is an immigration attorney in Miami, Florida. She says clients have been calling her in fear.
These are people that are here trying to make a living. They're not criminals. They're mainly professionals that are trying to contribute to this country.
She says clients have been calling to explore their options.
There's student visas, there are investor visas, there are talent visas. Just encouraging everyone, reach out to any legal help, see what options you have.
On Tuesday, Maduro announcing that he was open to receiving Venezuelan immigrants deported from the United States,
Queremos que vuelvan.
saying, "We want them to return so they can be happy here."
Sean felices aquí.
The Washington Post reporting on Wednesday that Edmundo Gonzalez, who the U.S. recognizes as Venezuela's president-elect, is warning Trump not to strike a deportation deal with Maduro, saying he would, quote, use returning Venezuelans to his political advantage.
All right, George Solis joins us tonight from Doral. So, George, walk us through the two deadlines Secretary Noem has to make the final decision about Venezuelan migrants here under TPS.
Yeah, Tom. So she has two pressing deadlines, the one in April for that first group of protected officials, and then you have September as well. Now, she has a couple options here. She can, of course, choose to extend TPS in April, which many Venezuelans and officials don't believe she'll do, or she can choose to do absolutely nothing, in which case those TPS regulations would extend for another 6 months. But I have to tell you, in talking with a number of Venezuelans today, many don't believe that's going to happen. So that's why many are seeking legal help right now to see if they can apply for those student visas or industry visas, anything to ensure that they don't get deported from the country, Tom.
President Trump has made cracking down on Venezuelan gangs here in the U.S. a priority. He even announced his mass deportation plan back in October from Aurora, Colorado, where many alleged gang members have been arrested, some in a DEA raid as recently as this weekend. What do we know about ICE raids planned there and across the country?
Yeah, Tom, two sources familiar with the matter say those raids that were scheduled to take place in Aurora, Colorado, starting tomorrow, have actually been postponed because of quote-unquote media leaks. One official telling NBC News that they believe it would pose an operational security risk to carry out with those raids. When they might take place has yet to be determined.
Okay, George Solis with a lot of new reporting out there. George, we appreciate it. We do want to turn now to the sentence of former New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, a U.S. district judge sentencing the disgraced politician, once one of the most prominent Democrats in the U.S. Senate, to 11 years in prison. He was convicted of taking bribes in exchange for helping foreign governments. Why he's now calling the trial a witch hunt. NBC's Jonathan Deans has this report.
Tonight, a stiff sentence for a man who was once one of the most powerful members of the Senate. A federal judge handing down an 11-year sentence to Bob Menendez, a Democrat from New Jersey, for numerous crimes, including bribery, extortion, and acting as a foreign agent.
President Trump is right. This process is political, and it's corrupted to the core.
Judge Sidney Stein slamming Menendez, saying he lost his way and failed the voters. Menendez was convicted of taking cash, gold bars, and a new Mercedes in exchange for actions that in part benefited foreign governments. An FBI search of his home turned up hundreds of thousands of dollars, some stuffed in bags, clothing, even shoes. Prosecutors also say he used his position as chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to help New Jersey businessmen. Two of them sentenced today, one to 7 years in federal prison and the other 8. Menendez asked for a lesser sentence, citing his years of public service. He resigned from the Senate in August after his conviction. The 71-year-old emotional in court, recounting his life story, the child of Cuban refugees who became a mayor, a congressman, and finally a U.S. senator.
I am innocent, and I look forward to filing appeals on a whole host of issues.
His wife scheduled to go on trial in March for her alleged role in the scheme. She has pleaded not guilty. Menendez has said he did not know his wife was taking cash and gold bars from longtime friends. Menendez is scheduled to surrender in June after first trying to get a pardon from President Biden. Now, 3 sources familiar with the matter tell us he's going to seek a pardon or commutation from President Trump. Outside federal court in Lower Manhattan, I'm Jonathan Deans. Tom, back to you.
All right, Jonathan, we appreciate that. For more on the Menendez sentencing, I do want to turn it over to our legal expert, Danny Savalos. Look, Danny, the evidence was overwhelming here. We talked about this case for weeks on this show. 11 years in prison, fair?
Good question. The sentencing guidelines called for a high-end sentence of 30 years. That's a lot. The prosecution was only asking for 15. His co-defendants got around 8. I think the other one got 7. And, of course, the defense, and I'm going to let you in, Tom, on a dirty little secret of criminal defense work.
Give it to me.
I'll tell you. When the prosecution's asking for 15 years, and you go to your client, you say, how much do you think we should ask for? What do you think the answer is 100% of the time? I want 0. I don't want to go to prison. So the defense attorney has a difficult decision to make, which is, do I look reasonable to the court or do I do what my client wants? And here's the thing. That's why you see a defense in this case saying, hey, house arrest, probation, do those things. Yes, we ask for that, but we don't really think we're going to get it. Not on a case like this where the guidelines are just so high. 12 years. The real question, why did he get more than his co-conspirators? Probably because he was in a position of trust.
Yeah. I mean, the judge even said you are a corrupt politician. You know, we mentioned, and our viewers may remember, his wife, Nadine, was also indicted alongside of him. Her case was postponed because she's undergoing cancer treatment. If you were her defense attorney, what would you tell her?
Oh, the advantages if you get to go second in a criminal trial. Nadine Menendez avoid being tried along with the other defendants. Now she gets the benefit of information, of data. Not only does she know that it is likely that she would be convicted, she has a pretty good idea of the sentencing range that she's likely to get. And I think it would be closer to her husband's than the co-defendants' lesser sentences. So right now, or at least over the past few weeks, she's been having a conversation with her attorneys who are telling her to think long and hard about possibly pleading guilty. By the way, they probably had that same conversation before this trial with Bob Menendez and the other co-defendants. But perhaps, Tom, the worst thing that ever happened to Bob Menendez was avoiding conviction in his first federal trial, because it's possible that that may have given him the idea that defendants have a real shot of winning in federal court. And they do not. I can tell you that.
And he didn't fall on the sword for his wife or anything like that, right? They're both going to be tried, and there's evidence against both of them.
Yes, in a sense, they probably used each other tactically, in a sense, to sort of not necessarily blame the other, but to some degree say, hey, she was doing that. I didn't know anything about that. And that was kind of his argument for sentencing. Yeah. He wasn't even aware of these bribe amounts. That was somebody else, presumably Nadine. All I knew is that I was going out to dinner or something like that.
Danny, always great to have you here. We appreciate it. We want to turn now to President Trump's pick for Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You may have seen the headlines today, grilled by lawmakers in a heated confirmation hearing. Kennedy asked to explain his past comments on vaccine, conspiracy theories, and abortion rights. NBC's Ryan Nobles has followed it all from Capitol Hill.
Tonight, President Trump's controversial choice to, quote, make America healthy again, facing a heated confirmation hearing.
Frankly, you frighten people.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., nominated as Health and Human Services Secretary, saying his mission will be to reduce chronic diseases, which he calls a crisis.
Americans' overall health is in grievous condition. I'm not here because I want a position or a job. I have a very good life. I want to do this because we're going to fix it.
But immediately grilled by Democrats over his views on vaccines.
All of my kids are vaccinated. I am not anti-vaccine.
Including his debunked claims tying them to autism.
Senator, I support the measles vaccine. I support the polio vaccine. I will do nothing as HHS secretary that makes it difficult or discourages people from taking either of those
Anybody
vaccines.
who believes that ought to look at the measles book you wrote. That's not true.
Senator Bernie Sanders asking about baby clothes sold on his former organization's website.
One of them is titled Unfaxed, Unafraid.
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
That was just a few months ago. Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Kennedy saying there are too many chemicals in food, and it's making Americans sick. Today, the former Democrat turned independent, defended by Republicans.
I have no doubt that you will be confirmed and you are going to do such a solid job for the people of this country.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? That's applied to me mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests.
But at one point quizzed by Republican Bill Cassidy, seen as someone who might vote no on Kennedy.
Does Medicare pay more, Medicare pay less, Medicaid pay more, Medicaid pay less? How do we do that?
I'm not exactly sure because I'm not in there.
Democrats later pressing Kennedy over his previous support for abortion rights.
When was it that you decided to sell out the values you've had your whole life in order to be given power by President Trump?
Senator, I agree with President Trump that every abortion is a tragedy.
Right, but that isn't what you said back in New Hampshire in 2023.
Kennedy arguing the attacks are really about President Trump.
All these Democrats are opposed to me for partisan issues. They used to be my friends. Now they're against me because anything that President Trump does, any decision he makes, has to be lampooned, derided.
Okay, Ryan Nobles joins us tonight from Capitol Hill. Ryan, lots of fireworks there in your story. We saw and heard just a bit of them. Today's hearing even a baby's onesie making an appearance and moments where RFK Jr. clearly struggled at times, confusing Medicare and Medicaid. Are any Republicans behind closed doors expressing concern about his nomination?
I mean, from the very beginning, there were Republicans from behind closed doors raising concerns about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I think those concerns continue. The question, as is the case with all of these nominees of Donald Trump's, is whether or not those private concerns will become public no votes. Remember, he can lose up to 3 Republican votes and still win confirmation. The question is, could there be 4 Republican votes that could sink his nomination, 5, 6 or more? Right now, those votes don't appear to be anywhere in the offing. He does have one more round of questioning tomorrow in front of another Senate committee, so that remains a possibility. I mean, there is a group of senators here who have not shown their cards and said where they stand on this nomination. So there is the possibility that someone is preparing to vote no. But as I think is a good lesson in this confirmation process, until someone tells us they're voting no, assume they're voting yes if they're a Republican, and that these nominees will ultimately be confirmed.
Ryan Nobles, you answered my second question as well. Okay, we will be waiting and watching tomorrow as well. We thank you for that. Still ahead tonight, the wild brawl erupting at a town meeting. Look at this. The mayor getting right in the middle of it. What sparked the fight and the investigation into her alleged financial misconduct? We're going to show it all to you. Plus, the fiery fire jet crash. Look at this. The pilot ejecting himself after seeing a burst of flames. The aircraft coming under renewed scrutiny. We're going to tell you what happened to the pilot. And check your pantry. Health officials sounding the alarm over Lay's potato chips. Yeah, the classics. The ingredient in some bags that could cause a life-threatening reaction. Stay with us. Welcome back. We want to show you that public meeting erupting into a brawl in a Chicago suburb. An elected official who we've covered here in Top Story rushing in to join in on the fight. She's already in the hot seat for misusing public funds. NBC's Adrian Broaddus has the latest.
You gone. Chaos erupting at a local board meeting outside of Chicago, with the self-proclaimed super mayor Tiffany Henyard at the center. People knocking over furniture and smashing monitors. A shocking scene to many who were inside.
It was scary. It was horrible. That's an embarrassment.
It should have never come to blows, and Tiffany should have never got involved.
In a statement, the Board of Trustees said they are, quote, deeply saddened and disturbed by the events that took place, and, quote, our hearts go out to the residents who continue to witness such turmoil.
This is Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard, the people's mayor.
It's just the latest in a long saga of public scrutiny for Henyard, who is also the mayor of the Chicago suburb of Dalton and Thornton Township supervisor. She's been accused by other village officials of misusing public funds on everything from a lavish one-day community event to billboards of herself. Under her leadership, the Village of Dalton's general day-to-day operating fund was $3.6 million in debt. That's according to an independent investigation commissioned by the village. Henyard denying those claims for months, and even vetoing a measure to investigate her last year, which was eventually overwritten.
We'll be victorious when all the dust clears. You see, mark my word.
But one day before the brawl, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was tapped to lead the investigation into possible mismanagement of Dalton's funds, released her final summary. Some key findings, including $170,000 in travel-related costs, which Lightfoot said produced no business opportunities, $51,000 spent at area restaurants, and more than $218,000 for Amazon purchases made with village credit cards.
I'm happy that the report is out so that the residents
finally know some of the truth.
Regarding the brawl or Lightfoot summary, Henyard did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment. She has previously said the financial accusations are political retaliation and has threatened legal action. But tonight, as she makes headlines once again and goes viral for fighting, there are renewed concerns about her leadership.
Okay, Adrian Broadus joins us tonight live from Chicago. So, Adrian, I want to pick up right there where you left off. What's next for this mayor?
Well, Tom, in the township where that fight happened last night, a judge ruled Henyard will not be allowed on the ballot for re-election when it comes to the role of township supervisor. The only chance she has would be a write-in campaign. However, in Dalton, which is about 6 minutes away from the township, she is still seeking re-election as mayor, Tom.
All right, Adrian Broadus here with that new reporting. We appreciate it. We want to turn now to an explosive fighter jet crash during a scheduled training mission. The video is wild. The pilot ejecting just in the nick of time before the aircraft hit the ground and burst into flames. That F-35 jet now the subject of scrutiny as the list of mishaps with that model grows. NBC's Morgan Chesky with the video and the explanation.
This stunning video now crucial evidence capturing an F-35 fighter jet in free fall before slamming to earth in a fiery crash.
It is on the runway, the crash.
The pilot at Eielson Air Force Base witnessing the fireball from a parachute after ejecting seconds earlier. The Air Force says the jet was about to land during a scheduled training mission.
The pilot was executing standard procedures, experienced an in-flight malfunction.
The roughly $80 million aircraft is considered unparalleled for its stealth capabilities and capacity to conduct long-range laser-guided bombing missions. But recent crashes have drawn scrutiny. Last May, an F-35 crashed just after takeoff in New Mexico. In 2022,
the jet spinning out of control, losing its nose wheel.
This F-35 pilot in Texas forced to eject on the ground during a vertical landing attempt. The next year, a government watchdog report found ongoing maintenance challenges left the F-35 jets mission capable only 55% of the time. But former fighter pilot Heather Penny has full confidence in the aircraft.
I have absolutely no safety concerns for the F-35 program across any of its variants. Since its first flight in 2006 to today, which is nearly 20 years, only 10 F-35s have been lost to crashes, and some of those have been due to pilot error.
And tonight, military officials say that they are still seeking the cause of that malfunction on Tuesday during that scheduled training exercise. In the meantime, as of right now, no other F-35s have been grounded as a result of this incident. Tom?
All right, Morgan Chesky first. Morgan, thank you. When we come back, Harvey Weinstein begging a judge to move up his retrial. The disgraced Hollywood mogul saying he can't hold on much longer, citing his serious health issues. The trial date set. Stay with us. Okay, back down with Top Stories news feed. We start with an update on disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein's retrial for rape charges. A judge setting the trial date for April 15th in New York. Weinstein pushing for an earlier date, saying his health issues are causing him to suffer during his imprisonment at Rikers Island Jail. Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction was overturned last April. National test scores showing that U.S. schools are still failing to recover from learning setbacks during the COVID-19 pandemic. The National Assessment of Educational Progress showing that reading skills have continued to fall and math skills have made little improvement from last year. The exam tests a sample of 4th and 8th grade students in U.S. schools every 2 years. The Food and Drug Administration upgrading a recall of Lay's potato chips to the highest risk level. Frito-Lay recalled more than 6,000 bags of their classic potato chips last month because they may contain undeclared milk. The FDA now saying that could cause a life-threatening reaction in people with severe allergies. The affected chips were sold in Oregon and Washington. And the country's first academic cultural center and museum dedicated to the Cuban American experience is on track to open at Florida International University in Miami. Casa Cuba will house Cuban art, exhibitions, and venues for cultural events on FIU's campus. As a member of the Leadership Council, I was honored to speak at Casa Cuba's site inauguration last night. Fully funded by donations, the museum will span 43,000 feet and hopes to offer visitors an immersive experience into the history of Cuban Americans. Okay, Now to the latest in the battle over AI. As the new chatbot Deepseek, which was built in China, dominates here in the U.S., the Trump administration now alleging the company stole tech from OpenA.I to copy its ChatGPT. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung spoke to the experts about whether they saw any foul play.
They look similar. AI chatbots that can help you chef up a recipe or write a cute poem. On the left, OpenAI's ChatGPT. On the right, Chinese app Deepseek, sparking concerns that the U.S. may be lagging behind China in the AI race. AI leaders here in the U.S. now allege that China may have cheated, building a competitor by tapping data from a larger model like OpenAI's in a process called distilling.
There's substantial evidence that what Deepseek did here is they distilled the knowledge out of OpenAI's model.
An OpenAI spokesperson saying, "We are aware of and reviewing indications that Deepseek may have inappropriately distilled our models," adding they'll work with government officials to take aggressive, proactive countermeasures. Experts saying it's not clear if Deepseek is really a copycat.
There is almost like a knee-jerk reaction when it comes to anything that China develops to think of it as potentially stolen. And that's something that we do need to take extremely seriously, especially in AI.
All while OpenAI faces a lawsuit from the New York Times over unauthorized use of its content for training. OpenAI saying the case is without merit because training is fair use. The president's pick for Commerce Secretary telling the Senate he wants to further tighten China's access to U.S. tech.
NVIDIA's chips, which they bought tons of, and they found their ways around it, drive their DeepSeek model. It's got to end.
NVIDIA saying it is ready to work with the administration. Deepseek did not respond to NBC News' request for comment. The app remains the #1 free app in the U.S. Apple App Store. In second place, its American competitor, ChatGPT.
All right, Brian Chung joins us live here on Top Story. So, Brian, the issues with TikTok, right, was national security. That's what so many government officials were warning us about.
Yeah.
Is there that warning also with DeepSeek?
Well, not explicitly from the government yet, but I mean, experts that we've spoken to have pointed to some alarming language in their privacy policy and the terms of use for this Chinese app called Deepseek. For us, first off, starting with its terms of use, which they say are governed by China. And then the privacy policy actually lays out pretty clearly that they track a number of data points, including your keystrokes, and they store that information on Chinese servers. So in many ways, this is actually more directly tied to Chinese technology than even the U.S. subsidiary of TikTok was. But for what it's worth, this is really interesting. Microsoft says tonight that they're actually allowing developers to download a version of DeepSeek because they say, quote, it underwent extensive security reviews that make it trustworthy. So some super interesting threads there.
Yeah, that is. All right, Brian, always great to have you here. We thank you. Now to Top Stories Global Watch, starting with the deadly stampede in northern India. Authorities say an estimated 100 million people were at the largest religious gathering in the world when authorities say a massive crowd tried to rush into sacred water. At least 30 people killed and more than 90 hospitalized. Officials are expecting up to 400 million people to attend the 6-week Hindu festival. And authorities in Sydney, Australia are investigating if explosives found in a trailer were intended for an anti-Semitic attack. Police say explosives were found in the trailer, which was also displaying anti-Semitic messages. Officials estimate the explosives had potential to cause significant damage. Multiple suspects have been arrested, and authorities do not believe there is a continued threat to the public. Okay, in Spain, taxi drivers taking the streets for nationwide protest on insurance hikes. Thousands of drivers blocking traffic in Barcelona and Madrid with their white taxis. The drivers say their insurance premiums rose more than 300% in 3 years, making a livable earning difficult. Protesters blaming what they describe as the high accident rates of ride-sharing companies for those insurance hikes. Okay, we want to stay overseas now. Hamas planning to release 3 Israeli hostages tomorrow. They include 2 women and an 80-year-old man, as well as 5 Thai nationals who were also abducted during the October 7th terror attack. Among those going to be freed is Arbel Yehud, whose release was at the center of a dispute that threatened to unravel the fragile ceasefire deal. Chief international correspondent Keir Simmons joins Top Story tonight from Tel Aviv. Keir, I want to zero in now on Yehud, right? Because Israeli officials have said she was set to be freed last weekend in the first phase of the ceasefire deal, but then she wasn't. They said Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement because, as we remember, it failed to release her, a civilian, before captive soldiers. So why wasn't she released?
Well, that's right, Tom. And if she is released tomorrow, then she will be the last female civilian to be released, a last hostage who's a female, who's a civilian who really is supposed to have been, as you say, in the early stages of this. We are still in phase one. It is so fragile. So anything like this can potentially bring down the entire thing and bring Gaza back into conflict. So once again, here in Israel, you know, Tom, families are hoping the ceasefire is holding. We'll see tomorrow.
And then, Keir, the youngest hostage is 2-year-old Kafir Biwas. He was taken along with his 5-year-old brother and his parents. Do we have any news on their conditions?
Yeah, I spoke to his cousin more than a year ago. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Now, we don't know, but we do know, of course, people will have heard this week, the news, that of the 26 hostages still set to be released in this phase one, that the Israelis now say that 8 are dead. Now, who they are, we're not aware. And again, it's just another family just hoping beyond hope, really, that their little one, this little boy who in the end did celebrate, well, frankly, you can't say celebrate, can you? You know, did have his first birthday in captivity. Will he be freed during this first phase? Again, just Israel is waiting.
It's the horrors of this war, of that terror attack, and the family that is still being tortured by all of this. We know that President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, making a rare visit by a U.S. official to the Gaza Strip. This is something we really haven't heard about too much. What was the reason for the visit?
Yeah, we don't know. We tried to catch up with Steve Witkoff today, the new Middle East envoy appointed by President Trump. We weren't able to speak to him. There are these pictures of him going to Gaza. Of course, he was accompanied by the Israeli military. That would have been for his security, but they will have also given their side to him. But what he will have done, though, too, is have been able to see for himself some of the security issues and arrangements, and maybe he will have seen just how devastated Gaza is since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, 2023. You know, almost 50,000 people have died in Gaza in that time. Will Steve Witkoff, will he have been trying to understand a bit more about it all, because he's at the negotiating table? Once these hostages are freed, if they are all freed, and we obviously tonight are praying for that, then the next question is going to be who runs Gaza and how to rebuild it. Tom?
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a very big day over there. Kira, we appreciate you being here tonight for us. Coming up, the incredible rescue during those deadly Los Angeles wildfires. Body cam footage showing firefighters racing to evacuate a nursing home as flames moved in the moment they reached a 100-year-old woman and managed to save her. That's next. Back now with a heroic rescue in Los Angeles. Firefighters in the early hours of the Eaton fire searching through a retirement community for anyone who needed help evacuating their rooms. That's when they came across a 100-year-old resident looking for a way to get out. NBC Los Angeles' Robert Kovacic has that story.
The first hours of the Eaton fire as it rages through the night.
There are several police officers and also ambulances trying to evacuate these people.
It includes the evacuation of those who may need a little extra help to get out. NBC4's continuous live coverage shows our perspective from outside a retirement home. Now,
Sheriff's Department, anybody inside?
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department sharing the view from inside. Body cam video worn by deputies Nicholas Martinez and Quinn Alconis show the pair combing through the Montecedro retirement community as the fire only continues to grow in the early morning hours.
Oh my gosh.
And then they hear a voice.
Hello?
Hello? Where you at? A 100-year-old resident.
Hello?
Where are you? Oh, hi. Okay, perfect. Is there anyone else with you?
No.
Okay.
Where were you at?
What?
Which room were you from?
I've been trying to find a way out. Let's get you out of here.
Let's get you out. Okay.
Where do I go? But don't lose me. I'm 100.
With calm reassurance, they guide her carefully to safety and then returned to double check. No one was left behind. Sheriff Luna commending not just this pair for taking immediate and swift action, but all of his deputies who went into the fires to save lives amid such danger.
We thank Robert and NBC Los Angeles for their help on that story. When we come back, you've heard of dry January, but what about high January? Cannabis-infused cocktails now surging in popularity as an alternative to alcohol. Why some bars are now choosing to serve them. That's next. Finally tonight, as dry January comes to a close, some people who have given up on alcohol for the month are still looking to get a buzz, and they're trying something new. THC-infused spirits, the latest booze-free alternative allowing people to stay dry and a little high. NBC's Priscilla Thompson has more on the growing trend.
Now, this is all THC that's going to be going out, taking the place of beer draft lines.
On tap or out of a bottle. Those kicking off the new year abstaining from alcohol have a new choice. Cannabis-infused cocktails.
This is the first dry January that your spirit is on the market. What has the response been like?
Even at our own brewery here, I would say upwards of 40% of our sales are now THC.
While canned THC-infused beverages like seltzers have been on the market for years,
this is all THC.
Bayou City Hemp CEO Ben Meggs says their product, Ocho Verde, is one of only a handful of spirits.
Restaurants still want to sell a $15 cocktail. So how do we get that? Well, we decided let's put it in the spirit. We've got about 22 tanks here, and there are about 3 that are beer. The rest are full THC.
Wow.
And you know what's unique is that beer takes 3 to 6 weeks to ferment, and THC we can turn around in a week.
The 2018 Farm Bill removed federal restrictions on hemp products with low levels of THC, the active compound in cannabis that delivers those intoxicating, mind-altering effects. Those products are now allowed for those 21 and up, not only in states where recreational marijuana is legal, but also in some places where it's not, including right here in Texas.
These are called super sacks, and we bring in hundreds of them a year.
Industry experts say the THC-infused drinks are now among the fastest-growing product sales for liquor stores and restaurants, like Houston's Beetlejuice.
For many years, this was a huge no-no. And then all of a sudden, these products came out into the market, and we were like, are you really?
We can serve this?
Okay.
Chris Cusack is the bar's owner.
We're in dry January. Can be a tough month for bars like this one. Are having THC-infused cocktails changing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really only going to go up from here.
It makes the bar more inviting.
I don't drink anymore, so that's what I stick to.
I try to be healthy with alcohol intake, so I would definitely order it as an alternative.
And are you feeling anything yet?
I don't know if I feel it just yet because my tolerance is a bit high. Hey, I'm down.
Health and safety, a concern with any adult beverage.
Over-serving. That's a concern in bars. How do you navigate something like that with a drink like this?
We try to be really thoughtful of who's consuming what. That's our responsibility as bar owners and bartenders.
Consumers should also be aware. Cannabis researchers say know the product, understand the amount of THC in each serving, and how many you're consuming. Start small. See how your body reacts before ordering a second drink. It can take up to an hour to feel the effects, which could last for 2 to 4 hours. Don't mix. Combining THC with alcohol or other substances can increase impairment, and never drive under the influence. With all of that in mind, you're all set to give it a go.
Cheers.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, Houston.
We thank Priscilla Thompson for that. We did not know about those drinks. And we thank you for watching Top Story. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.